everyone! I'm going to show you today how I edit music using Davinci Resolve. Davinci Resolve is a free video editing software that you can use. You just download it from the internet, look up Davinci Resolve, and the title that it should be listed under is like Black Magic Design. Those two words should be next to each other, so you should be good if you click on that one. Okay, I am using Davinci Resolve 17, which is an outdated version of Davinci Resolve. In the past, when they've had updates, it usually updates features and not necessarily how the entire program is set up. So this should transfer very easily between different versions of Davinci Resolve. I will be downloading the updated version so that I can see if there are any adjustments I would make. But for the most part, you can use this video with any version of Davinci Resolve to edit your music. So you want to start by making a timeline. I've already done this. You'll just right click, press create new timeline, and give it a name. And this is when you're down here in the cut tab. I found you can only do certain features in certain tabs, so it's important to remember which tab you want to be in. It usually opens with or media tab, and I usually go to the cut tab in order to get my timeline ready to go. So I've gone ahead and made a timeline, and I have my soundtrack that I'm going to be editing. I will be editing a song that my mom wrote for my wedding, and it is a waltz, and I usually edit songs that have very clear beats because that's what I want for dancing. So I go to the edit tab, and I just drag my media onto the timeline. And then I will just press it and drag it to the very beginning. Okay, so now I'm just going to press play. Okay, so I can tell that the music is working. If you press Control minus, it will zoom out, and that's if you are on a Windows computer. It also will only let you scroll if you're touching the top. So if you're used to Final Cut Pro where you can just click, this doesn't work there. I'm clicking right now, nothing's happening. So you have to come up here and drag it next to the numbered part of the timeline. So this is about 3 minutes and 43 seconds long. So if I were wanting to make a wedding cut for a couple to dance to, I would maybe want to cut this to just about a minute or a minute 30. So what I'll do is I'll listen to the song, and I'll just listen to it on double speed by pressing L. I can do triple speed by pressing L again. Definitely sounds a little funky trying to listen to it this way. Okay, so I can already tell that after a minute, we've had one verse and one chorus. So I am going to keep listening. Okay, so there's a key change, which means that I need to include the key change section, and the key change is right after the stars, here we are, bridge. So I'm going to cut by pressing E for blade. Okay, I'm going to press cut over the section where I wanted to cut, and I just wanted to cut right before the bridge. So I just pressed Control plus to zoom in. Now I'm going to see if that's where I wanted it to be cut. Alright, perfect. So if you press A, I can now grab the side and pull it in a little bit because that's about where it starts, and I can see the peak right there. You can see here, if you look at the lines that are in the timeline, they start not very high and they get higher and higher and higher, and then for the second verse, they're higher than they were for the first verse. This means there's more accompaniment, more sound, and trying to cut straight from the intro to that spot will sound jarring. So I would recommend trying to find a place where you can start off with the first chorus and then cut to the second chorus. The dance floor, I can feel your heart beating with mine in time. Hold you close and I'll never let go. And I know you're the best thing that's happened to me. That's a possible spot, so I just cut it. Okay, yeah, so it looks like there's an underlying beat that comes in. So I'm gonna try. Okay, that part seems promising, so I'm gonna press Control Plus. Listen to it again. I wanna Okay, this is the part that I wanted to cut where it says, and it feels like we're touching the sky. Because that seems like a part where the music is naturally building, so I think it would be a good place to cut to. So I'm going to delete this section by pressing delete. If you press backspace, let me show you, I'm going to go Control Z. If I just press backspace, it's just going to move without moving the rest of the clips. So I want to make sure that I press delete so that I don't have to do the work of moving the clips myself. Okay, let's see. Lead me on to the dance floor. I can feel your heart beating with mine in time. Hold you close and I'll never let go. And I know, and it feels like we're touching the sky, rising high. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to trim a section of this part so that it ends early enough to jump into the second clip. So what I will do is I'm going to come over here and I can either press the trim button or I can press the letter T and it will turn it into the trim option. That allows me to cut while also having the other clips follow along. So you can see if I try to cut in A, I'll come here, it's going to cut on its own. Now Control Z, if I do it in my trim option, then as I cut they all move with me, and that's what I want. So I'm going to come here, see if that's where I want it. I can feel your heart beating with mine in time. Hold your hand, it feels like. Okay, perfect. So we've got a spot where we're almost in the same place of the song, melody wise. We just need to make sure that it is pretty exact. Okay, so I'm going to cut to that last beat. And it feels like okay, let's listen to it. I can feel your heart beating with mine in time. And it feels like okay, so you can hear there's like a beat there that makes it sound a little bit off. I'll play it again so you can hear. In time, and it feels like we're okay, so I'm going to, if I'm in trim, I can move the cut just slightly to the side. See if that fixes it. I think I did it too late. Okay, but you heard there wasn't the cut there, the beat there. So I'm going to move the cut slightly further back just so we get to where you can't hear any singing beforehand. And I'm going to go Control Plus again. It helps me see more clearly what I'm doing. I'm just going to come right there. Let's see if that works. And it feels like okay, didn't hear that beat. And it feels okay, so now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are on the correct timing. And this can be tricky because a lot of the times you think you're editing it with the right timing, but you're off just slightly. And especially for dance numbers, you want to make sure that the timing stays very consistent throughout. Okay, I don't know if you noticed that, but it was slightly fast. So that means that we're missing a bit of a beat there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Plus again. I'm going to give myself a slight, I'm still in the trim, just a slight beat there. And it feels okay, and this is a lot of trial and error, so I'm just going to keep playing it. And it feels and it feels in time, and it feels like I still think it's a little bit fast, so I'm going to pull it out just a little bit more. In time, and it feels like we're talking. Okay, so something I'm noticing is it's kind of an abrupt change. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to press A, which is here with the select option. I'm going to move this timeline slightly below. So now they can bleed over each other. So I'm going to pull it about to here, and then I'm going to let it play a little further so we have some of that beat coming in ahead of time, and then I'm going to fade it so that the beat comes in quietly. Let's see. And it feels like in time, and it okay, good. It's a little bit fast, a little bit happens too soon, so let's move it away and see what happens. And it feels okay, I think it's a little bit off still. In time, and it feels like that might be right. And I'm not going to spend too much time getting this absolutely perfect because I'm just showing you how to do this. So just a reminder, we went down, we put one of the clips underneath, faded out of the top clip, faded into the bottom clip, and I'm going to make it so the fades end as they overlap each other. Okay, one more time. Let's hear how this sounds. In time, and it feels like if I were editing this for someone, I probably would spend a little more time there just making sure that the timing is right. Okay, so next, the dance that will go on forever with all my love. Okay, so that's where I want to cut next. I'm going to start off by letting myself hear a little bit more of what comes after this first section. Perfect. I'm just going to delete that section and extend it. I know that I want the chorus. Okay, perfect. So I like that whole section, and I'm probably going to, let's see what is happening here. Yeah, there we go. Probably going to play as much of the chorus as is necessary before I can stage it. So I want to at least have the chorus once. I'm going to speed this up just to hear a little bit better. Okay, so what I would actually do here, because we've got a long section that musically is very pretty, but it is adding a lot of time into our cut, that's a very good place to cut. So I'm going to go blade, I'm going to let it play a little more. Sometimes the blade doesn't like to show up if it's too close to the red line. And then I'm going to cut over here. Okay, let's see how that cut went. So we could bring it down here. Okay, so this is promising. The biggest thing that I need to do here is make sure that the timing is kept up, and it does slow down a little bit. Is keep dancing for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, what if I? So I'm going to try to cut off that last with you. Is keep dancing forever. Okay, I really like this. So we're going to make it sound like it ends there. It's a little bit off. So what we're going to do is we're first going to take off this fade so it's easier to hear.
Is keep dancing forever.
So the timing is almost perfectly on. I'm going to start off by just taking that and fading it and making it shorter so that there's less of the abruptness. And then I'm going to slide this out a little bit more, add some fade. Let's see how it sounds. There you go. So this is slightly longer than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be about 1 minute 30 seconds. But sometimes it's hard to find a good cut that has the entire song that you want in that amount of time. So a lot of times I let the music tell me how to cut it. We're just going to show you what this completed song sounds like, specifically just the parts that we cut. So here's our first cut. This is where we faded and cut section of the song that has the underlying beat. And again, I would spend more time on this. So I'd probably keep the ending as it is, but I would spend a little more time fixing this section right here. Okay, so next you're going to go to this little spaceship. This is where you export. So up here you'll have a place to put file name. I'll just name this Dancing Forever with You Cut. And I'm just going to let it do whatever location it's on. Usually you can browse. I'm just going to put this onto my desktop. Save. Okay, so there's a few ways you can go about turning this into an MP3. Unfortunately, you cannot export as an MP3. That may be something that you're able to do in newer versions of Davinci Resolve. If there is, go ahead and scroll up at the top and check. There is an audio only section, but they only give you the options of QuickTime, MP4. You can just keep it here under custom and then just press audio. And it doesn't really matter what format you put it in. You can do QuickTime. Sometimes I change to MP4. It really doesn't matter. So then you're going to press Add to Render Queue. You can do as many of these edits, adding them to Render Queue as you want, and then you can render them all at the same time. Something to know is that when you start to render something, it will not let you go back and edit. So right now it's rendering, and it won't let me change tabs. It won't let me go to another project. So only render when you're done with everything. Okay, so I use freeconvert.com/mp3-converter. So just press choose files, and this is really nice if you're trying to mass convert things. So if you edited a lot of songs and need to convert them, it lets you do several at a time. So I'm going to go to quick access. So I didn't correctly save the name because I got out and got back in. So it says untitled.mov, but it should have the name there. Just make sure that you save it with a name. So then you can choose the output. It can be any of these things. I chose MP3. You press convert. It will convert them. If you have multiple, there's a download all option, but otherwise you just press this download button and then you have your MP3 and it works very well. You just download your song and you are set. I hope this video helped you get on the right foot for editing music. If you have any other questions about how to edit music or how to edit certain types of music, leave them in the comments below and I would love to make videos explaining how I've gone about certain things. If you liked the song that I was editing, that was actually written by my mother for my wedding. You can check out her YouTube channel, Sherry Bokweg Music. It's in the description below and she posts a lot of really cool music videos. There's a music video that my mom made with my wedding dance to this song. So I'll put a link somewhere, maybe on the screen, maybe on the comments section, I'm not sure, but there will be a link somewhere to that if you'd like to see. But go subscribe to her, she has great music. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. You all rock. Bye!